Hello students, I am Kritika Shetty. I'll be dealing with your physics topics. I hope I am clearly audible to you. If any doubt is there or if you are not able to hear me, you can just chat, you can just message in the chat box, okay? So as it is for 2 classes, we are doing the bridge course. I'll just discuss some of the basic concepts regarding the physics, okay? So here you can see the PPT. Yes. So as I told you, I am dealing with the physics concepts with you. So for your 10th class, you have total 5 lessons. Okay, in that 5 lessons, that sources of energy, almost most of the concepts they have deleted only. So mainly maybe we are dealing with only 4 concepts for the coming academic year in the physics part I am telling. So in the physics, we have for the 10th class, like electricity is there, then we have the magnetic effect due to electric current, and we have the light chapter, and human eye and the colorful world. These are the 4 concepts which we are going to discuss. But before going to start with the main topics, so some basic concepts regarding the physics we are discussing, so that ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಪ್ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಏನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಹೌ ಟು ಡೂ ದ ಕನ್ವರ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹೌ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದ ನ್ಯೂಮ್ರಿಕಲ್ಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ CBSE ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ you need to understand how to solve the numericals. Yakantandre in exam you are getting many questions in that, right? So here first we will discuss regarding the physics. So what is physics? So physics is nothing but it is a branch of science which deals with the nature, and the technology anta ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Okay, so nature ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, that is we are observing day and night occurring. The sky color is blue in color. Then next we are observing the clouds are white in color. Then seasons are changing here. These are some natural phenomena examples. Okay, so technology, for example, now we are habituated to the mobile phones, like it is a technology. Laptops we are using the computers, we are using tab, we are using electronic gadgets. So everything is based on the technology here. So whatever the technology you are coming across nowadays in the city places, we are seeing the metros, metro train is there, right? So these all are based on the physics laws or the physics phenomena or the principles here. So in physics we are using some of the terms. What are those terms? What it is called? Let us see. So here first I am going to tell you about the physical quantity. So what is physical quantity? So the physical quantity means a quantity which can be measured and by which various physical happenings can be explained and expressed in the form of laws is called a physical quantity. So you may feel the words are tough here. You may not understand the exact meaning also, but here you see the examples like length is there, mass is there, time is there, force is there, right? So these are called as the physical quantities anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. What is physical quantity? In physics, whatever the terms you are going to use in the upcoming lesson or in the 9th standard ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, we have discussed the force lesson is there, motion lesson is there, sound is there, ಹೌದಾ? So related to that frequency we will study about the time period. These are all called as the physical quantity. You have studied about distance, you have studied about displacement, acceleration, ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು physical quantity ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ physics ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So what is physical quantity here? Physical quantity ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ which can be measured ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನೀವೀಗ ಶಾಪಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಅ ಶಾಪ್, if you want to purchase the rice here, you will say that is you require 2 kg of rice or you require 5 kg of sugar. You will specify the quantity. So you need to measure that. Okay, so physical quantity ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ? You should measure that. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. For example, today you are happy. How much you are happy today? That you cannot say it in a number. Howda? You are happy, that is you are 5% happy today, or you are sad, you are 10% sad today. We cannot express that happiness. Suppose if you are sad, okay, suppose if you are sad, that also you cannot express in the numbers. Howda? So those are not called as a physical quantity. The physical quantities should be measured. Measure ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕದು. With some instrument ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ directlyನೂ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು ಹೌದಾ. By which various physical happenings can be explained ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು 9th standard ಅಲ್ಲಿ force ಅನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತಿದೀವಿ. So can any one of you can tell me what is the formula for force? You can unmute or you can just write it in a chat box also, as you wish. Force is equal to in formula barutte, F is equal to yes. Force is equal to in formula barutte ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಾ Panchmi Shreya? So force is equal to now
force I think M into V.
It is M into A, acceleration.
Oh.
Okay, so force can be expressed as F is equal to M into A. So you here ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಡ್. ನೀವು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಮಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಕ್ಸಲರೇಷನ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವೀಗ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ 5 kg 10 kg ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಹೌದಾ? These are all called as what? Physical quantity. ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿಗೆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ it should be measured, means you can measure that, you can explain that, and you need to express that. If these 3 points are there, those are all called as physical quantity. So just now I gave you the example for non-physical quantities like happiness, sadness, or how much you love your parents, right? How much you hate any of your friend, like all that, right? So those are not called as a physical quantities because ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ. We can just express with our emotions, but we cannot measure and explain that, right? So I hope the physical quantity picture is clear to you. Now let us see the types of physical quantities. So here we have the two types of physical quantities, that is a scalar quantity and a vector quantity. So it might be you have studied this in the 9th standard, some of the scalar quantities and the vector quantities. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು schools ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So here you can see the types of physical quantity. Like we have the quantities do not have any direction. Those are called as what? Scalar quantities. Those are called as scalar quantities. They have only magnitude. So only magnitude ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, for example, suppose ನಾನೀಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಟೈಮ್ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? You will just say or you will just express the time as what? That is 5:15 p.m. So you just specify here the number. You are not specifying this number itself. It is called as magnitude. Number ಅನ್ನೇ ನಾವು magnitude ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. The number is called as magnitude here. So this 5:15, what it is there, no? This is what? This is a magnitude. So this is a scalar quantity. Suppose if I visit a shop, I'll say that I require 15 kg of, that is sugar. So I just specified the number here. So these are all called as what? Such type of quantities are called as what? Scalar here. Or next example we will take. That is, you want to say the area of a given room. Suppose if you are sitting in one room, okay, area ಹೇಗೆ calculate ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? So here if you want to calculate the area of this room, you need to express it as what? Length into breadth, ಹೌದಾ? Length ಅಂತಂದ್ರೇನು? For example, length is 15 centimeter or 15 meter. Into the breadth is, suppose if it is 20 meter, so 15 into 20, we just multiply and write whatever the answer we are getting. Here we are not specifying the direction. So these are all called as what? Scalar quantities. You can see the examples here. Length is an example, time is an example, work is an example, and energy is an example. So these are called as scalar quantity, which can be expressed only with the help of a magnitude. Then next, the second type is, that is vector quantity. So what is vector quantity? The vector quantity is nothing but which has both magnitude and the direction ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ magnitude ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? That is nothing but the numbers ಅಂತ ನಾನು just ಹೇಳಿದೆ. So we have then the direction is also there. Direction anta andre, for example, so today I am traveling 10 kilometers. ಸೊ 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಯಾವ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ 10 kilometer ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ you can go to east, west, or you can go to any other direction also, right? So if you say only 10 kilometer, it is a scalar quantity. Along with the 10 kilometer, if you specify the direction, that is today in Bangalore, I am traveling 10 kilometer towards electronic city, right? So here what I am specifying, I am specifying the direction. So such quantities are called as what? That is vector quantities. I hope the scalar and vector quantity or the definition is clear to you. ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನಂಬರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. ದೆನ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೋತ್ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದೇರ್, ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿಡ್ ದ definitions in the 9th standard. The examples are displacement we have, velocity is there, acceleration is there, force is there. So this is the example for the vector quantity. Then next, so vector physical quantities can be added or subtracted according to the vector laws of addition. These laws are different from laws of ordinary addition. ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, for example, suppose if I have 10 kg of sugar and 15 kg of rice. So how much mass I have total here? This is nothing but what? 25 kg, right? So ಈ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನ? ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾನು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್? ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲಿಂಗ್ towards north 10 kilometer and then next he is traveling towards east or west, any one direction we can consider. So here he is traveling 20 kilometers. Then what is the total value of the displacement? So here I cannot write it as 20 plus 30. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಅಡಿಷನ್ ರೂಲ್ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. We need to go for the vector addition laws. So vector addition laws you will study in the higher classes. We will not bother about that. Here why I am explaining you, because the first lesson which we will discuss, that is electricity. Okay. So electricity ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿಯನ್ನ ನಮ್ಮ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ whether it is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. How you will understand it is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? You need to think whether you are specifying only number or you are specifying number with the direction. If you are saying the number with the direction, it is a vector quantity. If you are saying only the number, then it is a scalar quantity. So ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ electricity ಕಲಿತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. So electricity ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Here first before going to define the electricity or the electric current, we need to understand whether it is a scalar quantity or vector quantity. ನಾವೀಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, this is battery symbol, this is a bulb or any connection we have. The current flows from positive terminal to the negative terminal of the battery ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. The current flows from positive terminal to the negative terminal of the battery. This is what the definition of electricity or the direction of the electricity. So I will take that 5 ampere of current is flowing from positive terminal to the negative terminal ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. Now you both tell me whether it is a scalar quantity agata, vector quantity agata.
Ma'am, vector quantity.
Yes. So according to the definition, what we people will feel, you people along with me, what we will feel, it is a vector quantity. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ electricity or electric current is a scalar quantity. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು 2-3 ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವೈ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಸ್ಕೇಲಾರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ? Here no doubt I am telling you the direction from positive terminal to the negative terminal ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇದೇನ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಲ್ ಇದೆ ಇದು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಬಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಯಾವುದೇ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Therefore, direction is changing every time. Therefore, displacement is a vector quantity. But current ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, it is moving from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. The direction is fixed. First point. Second point, why it is a scalar quantity, why not a vector quantity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲೇನ್ current ಇದೆ, this current we cannot add the current by using the vector addition laws. Vector addition law ಇಲ್ಲಿ applicable ಆಗಲ್ಲ. For that reason, we cannot consider the electricity or the electric current as the vector quantity. Okay. So for school level, this is one exceptional case. Again, when you college and all, we have tensors are there. We have some other different quantities which are having the direction, but it is not a vector quantity. I hope the picture is clear to you. What is a scalar quantity? What is a vector quantity? Scalar quantities having only magnitude, vector quantities having both magnitude and the direction. So example is clearly there in front of you. But when you want to say it as a vector quantity, you should be sure that the vector addition laws can be applied. But for school level, the vector addition laws and all we don't require here. You just remember the examples, whichever the simple examples or simple terms we will study in the upcoming physics class. The next slide is so the next is fundamental quantities. So just now in the beginning we discussed about the physical quantities. What is physical quantity? Which can be expressed, which can be measured, and which can be what you can say. You can express that, you can explain that, and you can measure that. That is called as a physical quantity. What is fundamental quantity? So we have actually two types of quantities. One is called as a fundamental quantity and one more is called as a derived quantity. So we have two types of quantities like fundamental quantity and the derived quantity. So what is fundamental quantity? As the term indicates, fundamental ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the word meaning is basic ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Fundamental ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ basic ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So basic, these whatever the fundamental quantities are there, ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಟೈಮ್. ನೀವೀಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಹೇಗೆ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿ ಯುವರ್ ವಾಚ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಮಾಸ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸೊ ಹೌ ಯು ಮೆಜರ್? You will just take some weighing machines, on that you will just measure the mass and you will express that, right? Length, I'll just take a scale or I'll just take that whatever the bigger scales, the food scales are there, I'll just measure that length. We don't depend on any other quantities to explain the time, the mass, the length, the electricity. So these quantities are called as fundamental quantities anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ತರ in the full entire physics or in the nature we have only 7 fundamental quantities. So here you can see that the definition, out of large number of physical quantities which exist in nature, there are only few quantities which are independent of all other quantities and do not require the help of any other physical quantity for their definition. Therefore, these are called as absolute quantities. These quantities are also called as fundamental ಅಥವಾ base quantities ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. As all other quantities are based upon and can be expressed in terms of these quantities, the unit of these quantities are called the fundamental quantities or the fundamental units ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so you just remember the highlight here. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದೇನು ಫುಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನೆನಪಿಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ what is fundamental quantity? The quantities which are not depending on any other quantity. These are called as fundamental quantity and the unit of such quantities are called as fundamental units. Yes. So let us see what are the example for these fundamental quantities. So here you can see the examples: the length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and the luminous intensity. You just now I told you 7 ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. So 7 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. The length, first one is the length, mass, time, electric current, temperature, amount of substance and the luminous intensity. So these 7 are called as what? Fundamental quantities ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ quantities ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ those all comes under the derived quantity. So remember this one. Here I have written the name of the unit of these fundamental quantities which are called as the fundamental units ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. That is, the unit is meter, kilogram, mass length ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ meter ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, mass ಅದು kilogram ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, time is expressed in terms of seconds, electric current is in terms of ampere, temperature is in terms of Kelvin, amount of substance is in terms of mole, and the luminous intensity is in terms of candela. So ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ next column ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, symbols ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. Here you can see the length ಅನ್ನ meter ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರದ್ದು symbol m ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So ಅದು small m ಆಗಬೇಕಿತ್ತು, sorry. So that should be small m. Then mass ಅನ್ನ kilogram ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So kg, symbolically kg ಅಂತ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. Time, second, symbolically s ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Ampere ಅಂದ್ರೆ capital A, Kelvin ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ capital K, amount of substance mole, it is mol, luminous intensity, it is candela. Okay, so these are called as what? The fundamental quantities and the fundamental units and their symbols. Yes, so idanna bittu bere yavade quantities new physics alli tagondre, for example, that is we can go for the force, we can go for the work done, so we can go for impulse, or we can go for the pressure. Ad yavade terms anna ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ density, those are all called as derived quantity. Yakantandre those are depending on this fundamental quantity. You can see this. ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು 9th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು m ಇಂಟು a ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. m ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮಾಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ, ಇದು ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ your force is depending on the mass here. Then next I'll take the pressure. The pressure is expressed in terms of force per unit area. So force ಎದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮಾಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಮಾಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಎಕ್ಸೆಲರೇಷನ್. ಏರಿಯಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಂಟು ಬ್ರೆಡ್ತ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೆಂತ್ ಎದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ನಾನೇನ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಓನ್ಲಿ 7 are the fundamental quantities in the physics. Remaining all are called as the derived quantities. So now you can see this. The next one. Okay, the next slide, the derived quantities. All the other quantities can be derived by a suitable multiplication or a division of different powers of fundamental quantities anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. These are therefore called as the derived quantities, and the units are called as derived units ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It is called as the derived units. If the length is defined as a fundamental quantity, then the area and the volume are called as the derived quantities. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. That is, if I say just now we have seen the length is a fundamental quantity. Area ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, it is length into breadth ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, right? So area ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ರಿಂದ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, length ಇಂದ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ and breadth ಇಂದ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Therefore you are calculating your area by depending on the fundamental quantity. Therefore it is called as the derived quantity. Volume. Yes, the volume is expressed in terms of length into breadth into height ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So length fundamental ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, breadth ಕೂಡ fundamental ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, height ಕೂಡ fundamental ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ? That is, all are expressed as what? Length only. Therefore, but volume ಎದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ? ನಿಮ್ದು fundamental quantity ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ volume is called as what? Fundamental quantity. So the fundamental quantities are not depending on any other quantities. The derived quantities are depending on the fundamental quantities. So this is about the fundamental quantity and the derived quantities, scalars and the vectors. So I'll give just 1 minute to you both, that if you have any doubt you can ask, otherwise we will continue. Any doubt, Shreya?
No, ma'am.
Yes, Panchami?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I hope you both are understanding this. This is actually, it is like a foundation type concepts I have taken. So next class, just we will revise a little bit of 9th and then we can proceed with the 11th, 10th class portion. So this is little extra like foundation type it is, which you need to understand before going for the physics classes. So the next is system of units anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. What is system of units? A complete set of units, both fundamental and derived for all the kinds of physical quantities, is called system of units. The common systems are given below. So system of units anta andre, for example, ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಈಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಅನ್ನ we will measure the length ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ? That is we say in terms of meter also, ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಕೂಡ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮಿಲಿಮೀಟರ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ಪ, ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕಿಲೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಜಿ, ಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Then if you go for the what we can say, that is the time measurement, we express in terms of hours also, we express in terms of seconds also, minute also. So these are what system of units. Yes, so in the system of units we have basically 4 system of units. So in that, first one is CGS unit. So the CGS stands for, this CGS stands for, C stands for centimeter, G stands for gram, then S stands for second. Okay, actually the CGS, it stands for centimeter, gram and the second here. So now in case of CGS system, the mass is expressed in terms of gram. The mass is expressed in terms of gram. The length is expressed in terms of centimeter. The length is in terms of centimeter, mass is in terms of grams. Then the time is expressed in terms of seconds. So this is about the CGS system. So what is CGS system? In the CGS system, we express the mass in grams, length in centimeter, time in the second. Okay, so this system is also called as the Gaussian system of units. Here, the length, time, mass have been chosen as a fundamental quantities, and the corresponding units are the centimeters, grams, seconds, respectively. Okay, so from the fundamental quantities, out of 7, we are taking just 3, that is length, mass and time. This length, mass and time is expressed in terms of, that is centimeter, gram and the second. So this is about the CGS system. Now let us go for the next system of units, second one. Okay, the next one, that is MKS system. So what is this MKS system? The system is called as, that is Urey system. So in this system, the length, mass, time have been taken as a fundamental quantities, but here the mass is expressed in terms of kilogram, that is kg, and the length is expressed in terms of meter, and the time is expressed in terms of second. Yes, so this is about the MKS system. Then next we have the FPS system. So whatever the MKS, FPS ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, this is just a shortcut. That is M stands for meter, K stands for kg or the kilogram, S stands for seconds. The next one we have the FPS system. F stands for foot, P stands for pound, S stands for second. So here the length is measured in terms of foot, FP, that is mass measured in terms of pounds, and the time measured in terms of seconds. So this is about the FPS system. This is the third type of system of unit. Then the fourth type of the system of unit is SI system. So what is this SI system? This SI system is also known as, it is International System of Units, and here it is extended. Actually here this is the conclusion of the system of units. Here how you travel from country to country. For example, if you are in India, we are using the currency as rupee. If we go to America, there we have the dollars. If we go to that is Saudi, Dubai, there we have the reals, right? So as we travel the different countries, we have the different that is currencies we are using. But here the conversion is there for that. Same way, the quantities, the physical quantities, in some countries they measure in terms of kg, some are using grams, some are using pounds. So when we travel from different places, there is a confusion for the system of the full physical quantity or to purchase any of the stuffs here. To avoid this, what the scientists have done, in the Paris, one system, that is a bureau is there, where they have concluded that the one system we are using, that is an international system of units, which is a conclusion of all the three systems here. So idralli, whatever the quantities we are taking, these are the units which we are using now. So why I am telling you this, because in the upcoming class we are checking out the numericals. So every time we need to convert it in terms of SI, andre system international or international system of units alli convert ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So what is the conversion factor and all that we will see in the next slides. So here you can see I have taken the fundamental quantities. You can see the length is expressed in terms of meter. This is the SI system. MKSL ಕೂಡ meter ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So almost system SI system ಏನಿದೆ MKS ಇಂದ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. The length is measured in terms of meter, mass is in terms of kg, time is in terms of seconds, then the electric current is in terms of ampere, then the temperature, Kelvin, amount of substance, it is in terms of mole. Okay, then one more is there, that is the luminous intensity, which is expressed in terms of candle anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So these are the units of the fundamental quantities, but it is in the SI system. So ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ಯಾವ ತರ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So just now I told you that is the luminous intensity is expressed in terms of candela, symbol ಅದರದ್ದು CD ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಕೂಡ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು 2 supplementary units are there. So what are the supplementary units? That is radian for the plane angle, steradian for the solid angle. So plane angle ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಆಂಗಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ರೇಡಿಯನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡ್ರಾ ಎ ಸ್ಪಿಯರ್ 3D ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟೆರಿಡಿಯನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆಂಗಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಹೌ ಟು ಮೇಜರ್ or how to find out the unit of a given physical quantity. So as a science students, you should know how to calculate or how to derive the units of the physical quantities. So let us see how to do that. Okay, so here I'll show you whatever the quantities we have. Based on that, we will practice some examples. Like here, first one, velocity or speed. Unit ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ, it is meter per second. ಯಾವ ತರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆದ್ರೆ you should know first the formula of that physical quantity. So velocity ನಾನೀಗ 9th standard ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So velocity is equal to, formula ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, it is displacement divided by time. It is displacement divided by time. So displacement ಅನ್ನ ಎದರಿಂದ ಮೇಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So displacement ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಶಾರ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಶಾರ್ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲೆಂತ್ ಅನೇ ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಲೆಂತ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಲೆಂತ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ರೈಟ್. So how to write the unit now, that is meter per second. So how to read this, ಇದೇನ್ ಡಿನಾಮಿನೇಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಓದ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ಆರ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ರೈಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ m(s)⁻1. ನೀವು ಒಂದೇ -1 ಅಂತ ಬರಿಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ -1 ಅಂತ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ -1 ಅಂತ ಬರೆದಾಗ ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ವೈಸ್ ವರ್ಸಾ. ಓಕೆ, so here this is how the velocity unit, that is meter per second, how we are going to derive that. One more I'll explain, that is I'll take acceleration. Idanna kuda 9th standard alli kaltidivi. Acceleration is nothing but what, change in velocity upon time. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ velocity upon ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಟೈಮ್ ಅದೇನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿಫೈ ದಿಸ್, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಂ ಬೈ ಎಸ್ ಇಂಟು 1 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಎಂ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಎಸ್ ರೆಸ್ ಟು 2. ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ತರ ಬರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ, ಎಂ ಎಸ್ ರೆಸ್ ಟು -2 ಅಥವಾ ಎಂ ಸ್ಲಾಶ್ ಎಸ್ ರೆಸ್ ಟು 2. ಓದೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಓದ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್. ಎಸ್, so same way you can see some more examples here, that is okay. So velocity, it is expressed in terms of meter per second. Acceleration is expressed in terms of meter per second square. The momentum is expressed in terms of kg meter per second anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So why it is kg meter per second? See here. ಸೊ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಬೇಕಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು 9th ಅಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ದ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್, ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಪಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮಾಸ್ ಇಂಟು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನೀವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಸೊ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್ ಎಂ ಇಸ್ ಪಿ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು ಮಾಸ್ ಇಂಟು ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ kg, ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ನಾವು ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, ವೆಲಾಸಿಟಿ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಮ್? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ kg meter per second. Yes, it is kg meter per second. This is the unit of your momentum. Then next we have the impulse here. The impulse is expressed in terms of Newton second ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಥವಾ kg meter per second ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So before explaining the impulse, force explain ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ. So here the force is expressed in terms of mass into acceleration. So mass is in terms of kg. Acceleration ಅದು ನಾವು ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ, ಏನಿದೆ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ kg meter per second square. ಬಟ್ ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ kg meter per second square ನಾವೇನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿಂಬಾಲಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎನ್. ಸಿಂಬಾಲಿಕಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎನ್. ಓಕೆ, so this is regarding the force and it is expressed in terms of Newton. So what is the unit of force? kg meter per second square ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಮ್ದು ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈ ಇಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ again you should understand the formula. Impulse is equal to, it is force into time, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಬಂತಪ್ಪ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂತು, ಟೈಮ್ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ impulse. It is the unit of impulse. Yes, so this is regarding the unit and some of the physical quantities. So here I just wanted to ask you density the nodi 9th one. I'll explain you all that 13. Density, just see the density formula, the unit here. Density is equal to kg upon meter cube ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಇದು kg per meter cube ಅಂತ ಇದೆ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ. ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ಸೊ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎನಿವನ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ? ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ತರ, F is equal to ma, then impulse is equal to force into time. Yes, so that is the formula. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ kg upon meter cube. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ? ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? kg is the unit of
Ma'am, mass by volume.
Yes, it is mass divided by volume. Yes, very good. So it is mass divided by volume. Howda? Similarly, all other quantities you can see there. One more I'll ask, that is moment of inertia ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Moment of inertia the unit ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ? It is kg meter square. So kg meter square ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Again, kg is for mass Meter is for length here, but ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾದಲ್ಲಿ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. ಸೊ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಡಯಾಮೀಟರ್ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ನಾವು ಸೇಮ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ meter here. Okay, so either you should know the formula or you should know the unit in physics. So if you know any one, it will be easy for you to understand the numericals here. So sixth one, pressure. So pressure, they are writing it as a Pascal, but what is the actual formula or what is the other unit for the pressure? Let us see. Okay, the pressure is given as, it is pressure is equal to force upon area. Idu formula idu. So force is expressed in terms of Newton. The force is also expressed in terms of kg meter per second square. Area anta ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Area is expressed in terms of what? It is Newton meter square. ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಬರಿತೀವಿ? Newton per meter square ಅಥವಾ it is expressed as n/m raised to 2 Newton per meter square. Yes. So instead of saying it as Newton per meter square, this Newton per meter square is called as Pascal anta ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Newton ಇದು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? kg meter per second square. ಅದೇ ತರ whatever the pressure is there, it is expressed in terms of Pascal. So actually the Pascal is a name of a scientist here. Okay. Now you go for the seventh formula or the seventh unit, that is kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? So again, kinetic energy, ninth study ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ. So when the body is in the motion, the energy associated with the body is called as what? Kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is expressed in terms of joule. So we will see what is the other unit. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ formula. So numbers again unit ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಹೌದಾ? m is kg, mass is kg, velocity meter per second ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Therefore it will be kg meter square per second square. It is kg meter square per second square. So instead of saying kg meter square per second square, we call it as what? Joule. So kinetic energy dagli, potential energy dagli, ಯಾವುದೇ energy dagli, the unit will be joules only. The unit will be joules itself. The next eighth quantity is a power here. Power is expressed in terms of watt, or it is also expressed in terms of joule per second. So what is the unit of, what is the formula for power? Power is equal to, I'll go for the next blank page and I'll yes. So power is equal to, it is work done upon time. It is work upon time. So work ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. So I don't know about the work. So work is equal to, I know the formula, but so formula work ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? It is nothing but work is equal to force into displacement upon time. Force into displacement upon time, which is equal to force ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, that is given in terms of Newton or kg meter per second square. Displacement is there, so displacement is expressed in terms of meter. Then time ಅದು divided by ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ to the power of -1. Sorry, it is Newton meter per second. So this Newton meter per second is called as watt ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಇದೇನ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಜೂಲ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೋತೀವಿ actually. So this is taken as joule. Therefore this is also expressed as, this is joule per second. This joule per second. Okay, this joule per second itself, it is called as what? Watt. So now we will go for some more formulas, then we will stop the class. Just to go through this, tomorrow we can check out the remaining concepts. Yes. So see the next formula, that is power. We have the power is expressed in terms of watt ಅಥವಾ joule second ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. Density already you told that density is mass upon volume. The next one is angular displacement. ಸೊ ಆಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್. Angular velocity, it is expressed in terms of radian per second, and the angular acceleration is radian per second square, and the moment of inertia is kg meter square. Okay, so idanna bittu just I'll write some formulas here or some quantities. You can tell me the unit. We will discuss some examples and we will stop it. That is, I'll tell the torque ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, TORQUE. ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ. ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ದ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಫಾರ್ ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಸಾರಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ದ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Then what will be the unit of this torque here? The unit of torque is force is expressed in terms of Newton. Then the distance or the displacement is measured in terms of meter. So Newton meter is the unit of torque. Yes. So similarly, we will go for one more example, that is momentum. This momentum is expressed in terms of mass into velocity. Mass is expressed in terms of kg, velocity is in terms of meter per second. So one more. Stress anta one quantity barutte physics alli. So stress is expressed in terms of force upon area. So Shreya, can you tell me what is the unit of the stress? This force divided by area. So if you want, I can help you with the table, the previous table. So force is expressed in terms of area. Yadral barutte anta helidre ninge unit gottagutte. You can see this. So force and the area unit. Yes. What is the unit of stress? This force by area. Unit ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? Okay, you are not able to unmute yourself. Okay, it's okay. Panchmi, can you tell?
Ma'am, Newton by meter square.
Yes, yes, it is Newton per meter square, we can say.
Okay.
Yes, that's very good. So like this, we can understand the different physical quantities and the different units, how to understand the units. One more last example I'll consider, then after that we will stop. That is, I have a quantity G is equal to, I'll tell you the formula. I think you have studied this in the 9th standard. I have the quantity G, capital G is equal to, formula I'll write, you just tell me the unit. It is F R square upon M1 into M2. I'll explain you the terms if you don't know. F is a force, R is the distance, M1 is mass, M2 is also mass. So what is the unit of this capital G? So you both can chat this or you can tell me through the message. Instead of saying, you can tell me through the message. In the chat box, you can type the whatever the unit of this capital G is there. Force into distance square upon mass into mass. So you both can just tell your answer.
Ma'am, Nm square by per kg square.
Yes, it is Newton meter square per kg square. So here we will write that one, that is Newton meter square per kg square. As I told you, we can use slash also, we can use minus also. Yes, so this is how any quantities if I give you or any formula if I give, unit if I give you, you should be able to write the formula for the particular. So here my aim is for your physics class, I will not prepare you only for your physics CBSE, whatever the science exam is there. Along with that, some extra information or additional information also we will check out. I hope this class is helpful for you to understand the physics, physical quantities, then some quantities in the physics, how to understand the units in the physics, So if you see this class once again, if you are not clear, you can go through the recorded classes also. Just go through that and see how to write the units, because it is very important in physics to understand the units. Okay. So today I'll just stop my class here only. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, Panchmi.